my intro will play in a second, so you may get some loud music. Give me 1 minute. Here we go.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE. Welcome back to the channel that mangles stupidity's body and throws it into a pen of pigs. So yeah, welcome to 2020, the first debate of the new year. I hope everyone had an amazing holiday time, that Santa was nice to you, and you've made some resolutions for the new year that you're probably not going to keep, and just keep smoking and eating like you were going to anyway. Yay! I've had a lot of fun. I've been taking time with my family. I've had time to get myself better. I'm feeling much better than I was for the past few weeks, and I'm good to go with this debate. I have with me debating a gentleman called JYLewis. The reason we're debating is because he left a comment on a video of mine, a debate with Nathan Thompson from about 7 months ago, saying how, well, he had some criticisms of my debate performance and thought that debating me would be pretty easy. So we're going to see what happens. What do you want me to call you, buddy? By the way, I haven't even asked how I should refer to you.
Oh, yeah, you could just call me Lewis.
Lewis.
That's what most people online just do, yeah.
Excellent, thank you. So, Lewis, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. So, first off, just tell the people what your thoughts are on the shape of the Earth and how you came to have those opinions.
Generally, I would probably lean more towards a flat Earth model. As to why, it was general stuff, but I never really bought, so it started out with mostly like moon landing stuff. I never have been a big fan of the moon landing. I don't think they've ever went to the moon. As for space itself, never really questioned that. It wasn't about till 2 years ago that I started, well, actually probably a little less than 2 years ago that I started questioning some of that. So there was just various things that just didn't add up on the globe model, and therefore I was like, well, it's for sure. So the big thing was certainly not a globe. What I'm trying to say is it certainly wasn't a spinning globe. As for other models besides that, I'm open to it, but yeah, that's basically where I'm at.
So you don't think that we are on a spinning globe, and I'm assuming that you think all kind of space agencies and everything are lying to everybody, kind of standard stuff, right?
No, I don't necessarily think all space agencies are lying to people, because I think that throughout time, there's been there's been varying opinions on the space agencies, especially early space agencies, like the Soviets and things like that, of that nature. So it wasn't until a certain point in time, in my opinion, that they kind of all coalesced together on a similar opinion.
Right. So what's your biggest issue with the standard model of heliocentrism?
Oh, because it's based on the entire model is built on presuppositions, right?
Do you want to elaborate on that? Because I would highly object to that statement.
All right. So it's not just presuppositions that it's built on. It's also built on faulty, in my opinion, faulty reasoning. So the biggest problem that the globe has is that in order to make one proof, you have to assume or presuppose another aspect of the globe Earth in order to justify the one you're currently talking about. So in the debate, for example, that you were having with Nathan Thompson, I don't necessarily like the way he debates. I think that he can I think he can tend to detract it easily when he goes off on rabbit trails. But he did bring up a valid point that when you are talking about how planes travel, or how velocity works, or acceleration, or the spinning of the Earth works, and how it keeps us to the ground, you're presupposing gravity. So you still have you haven't yet justified your belief that how gravity works, right?
Okay. I never presuppose gravity. I know that gravity is real because there's a downward acceleration. There's so much evidence to show that mass does attract mass that I don't need to presuppose gravity because it's something
but that's the problem. You are
proven. I'm not, because
you can prove mass has the ability to hold water around a curved surface without presupposing that mass works exponentially as it gets larger and larger. That's what you're presupposing that.
No, we're not presupposing that. The law of gravitational attraction was derived and figured out based on empirical observations. So we know that things accelerate towards the ground with 9.8 meters per second squared. So we know that there is an attraction.
Yeah, that's your natural. That's your natural. You're observing that now, which is perfectly fine.
And
then you've come up with a hypothesis, which is fine, but you have yet to test and prove that water can be can curve around a convector.
Well, there is evidence
with that amount of.
What we need to determine is there an attraction between mass, and that has been experimentally demonstrated in many different ways. The Schehelian experiment, Cavendish, the basic weight experiments. Everything matches up with the equations based around Newton's law of gravitational attraction. And the law of gravitational attraction is dependent on the mass. And
so
we know that
no
if
person
there
says
is
law, no actual scientist uses law of gravitational attraction. They all say it's a theory.
No.
You can Google this right now.
No scientists say gravity is a theory, because gravity isn't a theory. Gravity.
No. The downward things falling to the ground is a measurable thing that we can
falling,
prove.
Accelerating.
As to the cause, my point. I'm using layman terms, but my point isn't that. I'm saying that the presupposition that you're having is that gravity works the exact way that they theorize it does on large scales. You can prove there's a downward force, but there could be other forces that explain it. You haven't proven the cause. You've only got the effect that you are theorizing from.
Do you know how they found Uranus?
Yeah, they use trigonometry.
No. What they did was they noticed perturbations in the orbit.
No, I mean the size Neptune. And distance is what they used. I'm sorry. Yeah. I misunderstood your question.
They took the calculations that Newton had figured out from empirical observations, and they, along with observations of things in the sky, and the orbits and everything matched what his math says. But what they noticed was that in Neptune's orbit, there was a weird point where it didn't do quite what we thought it should do based on the math. So what they did was they figured out that based on the math, there must be something with a certain amount of mass at a certain distance away from Neptune to cause this perturbation. And they did some calculations based on Newton's law of gravitational attraction, and it said if you look in the sky exactly here, then based on the calculations you will find a planet. And they looked exactly where the math said it should be, and there was a planet there exactly as they expected it to be. That is, I mean, you can't get more empirical than that. And when
but that's not empirical.
Oh, it is empirical because you're observing what's going on. No. The empirical observation.
You're observing a phenomenon.
Yeah, no, the empirical observation was the
math
fact that
cannot
there
be
was...
used as a proof, right?
No.
Math is
Well,
math is a descriptor of what we're seeing. All they did was look at what they saw and crafted
Let me stop you there, okay? The law of gravitational attraction was already in place. And they made an observation that there was something wrong with the orbit, that it wasn't doing what it should. And then based on Newton's law of gravitational attraction, they did some maths, and the maths said that if you look at that point in the sky, then you will see another planet, because the mass that should be there is what's causing the disruptions in the orbit. And that is literally the most empirical thing you can do. You look at something, you see something happening, you make a calculation to say, oh, well, something should be there. Then you look in the place the calculation says, and there's something there. You literally cannot get more empirical than that.
Yeah, again, you're begging the question, and you're presupposing.
No,
you're
there's nothing that's been presupposed.
Here's the problem. Yes, you don't necessarily are, because look at what you're doing. Follow steps of what you just claimed they did, right? They observed a natural phenomenon where they said, hey, where is why are the orbits of, like, we're assuming your model there, so that's the first problem. 1, 2. You're saying, okay, so the model works this way, but without another astral body out at this location at this distance, the whole thing falls apart. Based on this math,
not that it falls apart. They noticed that there was a perturbation in the orbit that they couldn't quite explain, unless
exactly. So they used
unless the way that they could explain it is if there is another mass that is causing those perturbations, and that matches what our model says. So we've already at this point we've already experimentally shown that we are a planet orbiting around the sun, and based on that model, the math says that because of that perturbation, it means that there must be something there. And when we look,
math cannot be used as a natural phenomenon or a proof.
No. I'm not using math as the proof. I am using the fact that there is a perturbation in the orbit of Uranus,
which could be explained by there could be other reasons or explanations beyond our scope that we're able to test at the moment.
But the thing is, what we found was, we looked in the point in the sky that the calculations said, and we found the planet. That was literally how they discovered Neptune. No, sorry, Uranus. Yeah, that was literally how they discovered Neptune. Sorry, right? Based on that.
Irrelevant, because Neptune has been theorized to exist for centuries before, so it's irrelevant. You're saying proved Neptune existed using this math, but
not proving that it existed. Not proving that it existed. What it proved was that based on our model and what's happening, what it proved was that it's in the position that we said it should be. And it was.
But there's other stations have predicted locations of these objects before without using nobody had predicted
without
those presuppositions.
Nobody had predicted the position of Neptune before that. Nobody.
Ancient civilizations have had astral bodies without using your methodology for
not of Neptune,
thousands and thousands of years.
They had no idea that the planet Neptune existed.
Irrelevant. The point is that all of those ancient civilizations have been able to easily track those astral bodies.
Not Neptune, though. Neptune was discovered because of Newton's law of gravitational attraction. That was literally what allowed them to discover Neptune. There wasn't any predictions or anything about it before.
Just because you're able to make a prediction does not make it.
But it wasn't just a prediction. It wasn't just a prediction. It was a calculation based on what we saw happening with the orbit of Uranus, and based on Newton's law of gravitational. Based on Newton's law of gravitational attraction, which has been experimentally proven to be a thing, because we know that mass attracts mass thanks to lots of experiments, and we know that there is an acceleration, and that's how Newton developed that law. And based on that law, and based on the empirical evidence of literally looking at the orbit not doing what it should, we were then able to say, well, based on all of this, if we look in this point in the sky, we're going to find a planet. And they looked there, and they found a planet. There is no, it's not just a prediction. There is no, it might be this, it might be that. They looked there, and they found the planet. They found the actual planet, which experimentally demonstrates that what they were saying was true.
You're presupposing. Well, again, you're saying, okay, again, you're presupposing size. You're presupposing that they actually did find a planet, or they're not just saying they found a planet. One, two, three.
That's called an argument for incredulity.
There's several. No, it doesn't matter, because the point is that you have to demonstrate your entire world. You're building an entire worldview, right? Your entire worldview is based on the globe Earth, correct? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the burden of proof relies on the person making the claim.
And it was proven.
I don't have a specific flat Earth model that I hold to. I just know that the preponderance of evidence that we can test here on Earth tends to lean more towards flat Earth than it does globe Earth. That's the problem, because globe Earth people are basing their entire worldview on presuppositions, like I said before.
You keep saying presuppositions, but there isn't any presuppositions. This is all built on experimental stuff, on empirical evidence. There isn't anything that's presupposed.
No, empirical.
Everything that is around the globe is based on empirical evidence. There is no presuppositions.
Yes, there are presuppositions. You're just not. There
really isn't. There really isn't, because everything has been experimentally proven.
Empirical evidence is the information received by the means of senses, particularly by observation, documentation of patterns and behaviors through experimentation.
Exactly. And they empirically monitored the orbit of the planet and noticed that there was something wrong with the orbit. That was explained.
Prove that's what they did. Are you taking their word for it?
No, okay, you can't just say, well, prove that they did that, because that is literally
you absolutely can.
They have done that. That was literally how they discovered.
No, that you're claiming they have. I have not seen evidence suggesting they have.
I mean, you could just...
You have to provide evidence for that.
No, you can literally just Google that and find it.
Again, that is a argument. You're presupposing that they're experts. It's a argument from...
No, there is no
authority.
presuppositions.
You're making up authority.
No. There's no presuppositions. This is all.
You're saying because these people are scientists. Because I trust them personally.
No. I'm not saying because these people are scientists. I'm saying because of what these.
That's exactly what you just said.
No. I'm saying
yes. These people. Who are these people?
The people that were actually doing the experiments.
And why do you trust them?
Because they're
trust is absolutely relevant.
Wait,
Stop, I was a history major, for example.
Let me get one thing clear.
I can't just trust or
I don't have trust, and I don't have faith, because those things are irrelevant to me. I hold my positions because they are the most logical positions to hold. And these people that did these experiments were the people that were empirically testing things to find out if it was true. I mean, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that these were the people that did it. It doesn't matter who they are.
No, I'm not.
The fact is that their results.
They are. My point is.
Yeah, my point is.
Can you duplicate the results right now?
Absolutely, I could monitor the orbit.
It should be easy. It should no. I not just go on Google, type in the mathematical formula, and then saying here it is.
I'm not saying that. Can you? Yes, I can absolutely monitor the orbit of a planet, and I can absolutely see if the orbit.
Planet. Not just any planet.
Of Uranus.
The planet that you were talking about.
Yeah. You can absolutely monitor the orbit of Uranus.
Additionally, can you why is it that we can see these astral bodies basically year round? Like there's I think very short periods of time where where some people have not been able to see them, but there's been other explanations for that. Sorry. When based on the heliocentric model, what? Based on the heliocentric.
Sorry, go on.
Heliocentric model, there are points in time when these bodies allegedly these bodies in space should be covered up. Why is it that with almost without fail, we can see them nearly year round.
Because our model says that they should be able to. There is actually no problems with the model.
Anyone who uses 2 brain cells could know that that's a nonsense argument.
It's not, though, because you can actually map this out for yourself. I've done it myself with Universe Sandbox. You can literally map out the position.
Universe Sandbox.
Yes.
You're using a program.
I'm using a program that, based on our model, shows you what you should be able to see.
And who creates the model?
The model is based on empirical evidence that's been gathered throughout the centuries.
No. You can't just say that. You have to. The empirical model is based on the presupposition of the authorities that you're placing into. You're having faith in their reasoning, in their math, in their trustworthiness.
You're missing my point, right? What Universe Sandbox gives you the ability to do is test the heliocentric model. The heliocentric model says that our solar system is set out in a particular way. So in Universe Sandbox, which is a very advanced program, although I think I'm going to use Space Engine from now on because it's even better. But anyway, using Universe Sandbox, you can map out the solar system based on the heliocentric model. You can have it to say exactly what we say it should be. And then when you do that, you can actually map out see the positions of everything. And what you find out is that there is no contradictions. There is no points where you shouldn't be able to see this, where you can, or where you can see it and you shouldn't be able to. There is none of those things ever. Not once has any flat earther ever shown me a model that would say, well, you shouldn't be able to see it here.
It's not up. Again, you're proposing. The argument is not on me to provide a model because I'm not one presupposing a model.
I don't presuppose the model.
There are certain evidences that can suggest there are certain people that have created models. I'm not going to go over their evidences for them because I don't want to misrepresent them. But they're
never right
to predict. They absolutely have been able to predict things. And you can go out and use their same predictions and their same experiments.
No, I'm not saying that you cannot predict things based on patterns. But what the main thing is, the heliocentric model explains everything. Absolutely everything. 100%. There is nothing that the heliocentric model has an issue with. We're approximately 93 million miles away from the sun.
All right, prove that.
Spectroscopy proves it.
No. That it is actually demonstrating it that's proven it. Just saying that proves it.
Okay, there's one thing that absolutely proves it, and it's the fact that the sun does not change angular size throughout the day. And Slice Barcane actually experimentally proved it.
Okay, so the sun could be twice as far and double the size, and it would still match up with all your math.
Nope, not at all.
Anyone can do basic math. It's called doubling. It's a mathematical formula where if you double all the properties of an object.
No, it really doesn't work out like that. Based on the way that light is coming to you, it really doesn't work out like that. Let me just get a video up to demonstrate. Not irrelevant.
Because we have. Are you assuming how light functions based on your model?
No, I don't need to assume. I don't need to assume how light functions. We know how light functions. We know how light functions.
No, you know how light functions on Earth.
No, we know how light functions
in other mediums.
We know how light functions. End of story. There is entire areas of physics based around that.
Physics is a theoretical nonsense, all based on math. It has no observable evidence at all.
Physics is not theoretical. Physics is the explanation of the physical world.
No. Math can be used to define things. Math is a definition. It's an adjective by definition. Math
is a language.
They're not an
descriptive language. That's all.
Yeah, an adjective. It's a bunch of adjectives that describe a phenomenon that we see, and we're trying to apply that math. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is accurate.
But
that just means that you are taking your presuppositions.
You keep saying presuppositions. What presuppositions have we made? Wait. Tell me what presuppositions have we made?
You're assuming your worldview and injecting the math into it to make it work.
No,
Anyone can do this.
We're not
Yeah.
injecting math into it. The math is based
So-
on observations. You look at
You're
something,
the same-
you see what happens, and you create a mathematical formula that describes what is happening. There
That's
is
not
no.
how theoretical physicists do it at all.
I don't.
In order
think-
for your worldview to work, you assume things like dark matter, dark energy. You need to assume
nope, we don't need to.
Einstein's law of general relativity. Yes, you do. You absolutely do.
Einstein's relativity is actually one of the most experimentally proven concepts ever. Like, literally.
Okay. That's why they had to assume that dark matter and dark energy exists without any evidence for it. Only a mathematical equation.
No, there actually is evidence for dark matter and dark energy.
No, there
but-
isn't. Zero.
No,
It's all math.
No,
it's
not
all
at all.
nonsense math that they did.
Not
and
at all.
yes,
Wait,
yes, it is.
no, it's not. And
You've seen, you've demonstrated and observed it.
It's irrelevant to the conversation because we don't need dark matter for the local systems that we're talking about. But there absolutely is evidence of dark matter existing. The best evidence of dark matter existing is in the part of the local cluster, like the other side of the local cluster. There is two galaxies that are moving towards each other and they're passing each other. And what you see, you want me to...
That's presupposing that they're moving towards each other. You haven't demonstrated that they actually
well,
are. You're just using math built on math built on...
Stop. Right. We know which way things are moving thanks to things like the Doppler effect. Okay. Now, what you find is these two galaxies that are passing each other, the areas closer in between the galaxies, there is actually a massive increase in infrared radiation coming from the areas where the galaxies are close to each other. And the only explanation for that is that the dark matter is literally getting squished by the passing of the galaxies going close to each other. And that actually matches all the predictions that have been made.
Yeah, redshift's never been proven, though. You just use the
redshift
Doppler
absolutely
effect,
has been proven.
No.
No,
It's
redshift
proven
has
that
been
there
proven.
is there's proven that there is an effect, but they have not proven that that is the cause. They're presupposing the cause.
No,
everything
we're
is built
not
on
presupposing.
presuppositions. If you dig deep enough,
Stop,
into all these theories, you can see there's presuppositions.
There's no presuppositions. Actually, when you dig into all these things, you find where the basis of them come from.
That's why.
What is the Doppler effect?
Like, for example...
Wait. What is the Doppler effect, then?
It's not measuring the sound, light, and what I'm trying to remember what sound, light, and other waves, and observing the increase and decrease in the frequency of them to try and judge the
what causes the change in frequency?
They presuppose what it does. I'm not making a truth claim about it.
No, right. Let's talk about an ambulance, all right, coming towards you and then going away. All right, that's a perfect example of the Doppler effect. You know, why do you get that change in pitch as the ambulance comes towards you and goes away? Why does that happen?
Well, due to atmospheric.
Nothing to do with atmosphere.
The amount of dense.
No, nothing to do with that at all.
It has to do with the amount of stuff in between you and the sound that's
nothing
coming.
to do with that at all. Right. You obviously don't actually know what Doppler effect is. Okay. The reason why a pitch of an ambulance.
It's irrelevant whether I do. It's built on a presupposition.
No,
it's not. It's not
built on a presupposition.
Presupposed mathematical law is. I don't need to know every little detail.
Let me explain to you, because the Doppler effect is nothing to do with presuppositions. Okay. As an ambulance is coming towards you with its sirens blaring, what's happening is that sound wave that is coming towards you is, as the ambulance moves towards you, the frequency of the sound waves gets squished. So it goes into higher frequency. So you hear the pitch kind of increasing. And then as it passes you and goes away, the ambulance is moving away, meaning that the sound waves coming from the ambulance are having to get stretched as the ambulance goes away.
I get that.
And that is the basis of the Doppler
But you're
effect.
presupposing other things
I'm not presupposing anything.
Tap to it at the same. Yes, you are. You're assuming that there is nothing else impacting that can affect our observations of it.
There is nothing else impacting
could there be?
That is literally the definition of the Doppler effect.
We know we know things can impact sound, light, and other things of that nature. We know things can do that. So how do we know? For example, all right, here's one example of a presupposition. Someone will say the star is this far because of the brightness, the width, and then the trigonometry. But they are that the reason it might be that size is because some of the light is not making through due to atmospheric things in between it. Maybe there's some sort of dust cloud that is causing an obscurity
we've got
that we're
telescopes
not
in
able to
space.
see. Doesn't matter.
It does.
You don't
have atmospheric problems when you look at using something
with
in space.
that distance, it's irrelevant. That distance.
No, it's not
so
irrelevant because there's no atmosphere in space. It's not irrelevant.
You're actually suggesting that you're able to see everything in between you and stars many trillions of light years away, allegedly trillions of light years away.
Yeah,
that's where you're going to rest your case on.
I don't need to rest.
Dude,
my case
anyone who sees that
right,
you're building your cases on presupposition.
There's no presuppositions. You saying
you keep on saying that, but I've demonstrated four different ways.
No, because none of those were presuppositions. None of them were presuppositions at all. All right, and we don't need to make a presupposition to say that we can see something from trillions of miles away because we know how light travels. And even if the angular size of something is too small, you will still be able to see the light coming from that object. And that I can actually show you a video to prove that.
Sorry, it's right here.
Right, I wanted to get the... All right, here we go. All right, we've been jumping around a bit. I wanted to go back to the fact that you're saying I'm presupposing the shape of the Earth and the distance to the Sun. Whereas experiments like this one done by Sparkane actually don't make any presuppositions in the slightest. Let me just get that up. Go away, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'll get copyright striked.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry, I thought I muted to talk to my wife real quick. So.
Okay. Right. So, Sparkane, I think it was 2017. He got a bunch of people from around the world, and he basically asked them to, on the solstice, what was it? Let me just check. The September equinox 2017, 23 participants in 9 different countries conducted a simple scientific experiment similar to Eratosthenes over 2,000 years ago. So simple, using the latitude of each participant, the sun's elevation angle was measured during solar noon. The angles were then placed across both a flat plane and a sphere to see which model the angles correspond to. Not that it's really that important to the point that I'm making, but let me get to the bit I need. So when he mapped them onto a flat plane, what he found was there was conflicting positions of the sun. However, once he put those onto a globe, he was not only able to determine the shape of the Earth, but based on the angles of the light coming in, he was actually able to determine the distance to the sun. And based on the calculation, there's no presuppositions. This is people doing empirical observations, and then based on those observations and nothing else, they did some calculations. And those observations said that the sun was 93 million miles away. There was no math from anyone else. There was nothing presupposed. This was purely from people getting empirical observations of the angle.
No, this isn't about presuppositions, though. That's not the problem.
And I'm trying to show you how we don't make presuppositions. Everything around this is demonstrating that there is no presuppositions.
Okay. First off, that's all graded graphics. I don't know. I wasn't there for the experiment. It's irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant.
You have to be able to test this yourself.
Okay. No. Stop. What you're doing there is called the genetic fallacy. I didn't do it myself, therefore I don't know. And
Science requires you to be able to
stop talking to me. This is absolutely This is absolutely something that anybody can do. Absolutely, 100%
Then why haven't you done
repeatable. I've been trying to arrange a massive Eratosthenes experiment.
You're trying.
I had it in the works last year, but unfortunately, the website I created was destroyed by a bunch of flat Earth trolls. So I am speaking with some people around the world, physicist George Musser, some people in the Canadian Space Agency, some people from the Philippines, and we are arranging to do the world's biggest Eratosthenes experiment to actually try and get it to work. But this was done, and I'm not the only person that's done this, and Sly isn't the only person that's done this. There's actually something that's been going on Facebook where they've been doing these observations for about 3 years continuously to try and get the most accurate results ever. And this is absolutely something that anybody can do. Anybody can measure the elevation angle during solar noon. Anybody can stick in the ground and look at the angle the shadow makes. Anybody. This is 100% repeatable, and every time it's done, every single time it's done, you find out that the sun is 93 million miles away, based on empirical observations of many people around the world. Just because you didn't do it yourself doesn't mean it's irrelevant.
You're presupposing several things there. One, you're presupposing size, location of the sun. So you're presupposing.
Where's the presuppositions come from? The distance to the sun.
You said you put it on a flat. You said you put it on a flat plane and it didn't work. But
absolutely,
there is no model for you to put it on for a flat plane. It's irrelevant.
A model is irrelevant. A flat plane will be a flat plane no matter where you are. And
positioning is everything.
No matter where you put those lines on a flat plane, you're going to get conflicting positions for the sun. There is no presuppositions made here. On a flat plane, you get conflicting positions for the sun. On a globe, you can actually, based purely on the observations,
what is the assumption of the size of the sun, though?
There is no assumption. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
What are you assuming? Yes, you have to.
Right. Let me explain to you once again.
You have to size and the position of the sun based on the rays of light.
No,
you have to presuppose that position.
Stop talking. You keep saying presupposing, and you didn't listen to what was done.
But I listened to the whole thing.
Right, they didn't presuppose anything. They used only the calculations that they got from doing their own measurements, nothing else, and based on those measurements alone, they calculated that the sun was 93 million miles away, and that it is the size that we say it is. There was no presuppositions made because it was all done based on the empirical evidence of 23 different people in 9 different countries. There is no presuppositions made.
I've seen numerous people demonstrate that the Aristophanes, even with a lot of data points, explained with various different, even famous scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson and things like that admit that
with 2 points, yes,
that Aristophanes he said with any amount of points.
A direct quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson in an interview with what's his fucking name? I can't remember. I can get the interview, but a direct quote from Neil deGrasse Tyson was, based on Eratosthenes' experiment with 2 sticks, yes, you could say the Earth is flat. But if you add just one more data point, and he made a very big point about saying, if you add just one more data point, and you get a position that shows that it's a globe, that does not match a flat Earth. If there is any more than 2 data points, the Eratosthenes experiment cannot be mapped onto a plane, a flat plane. It's impossible.
I've demonstrated. Well, one, you're making a lot of presuppositions.
I've not made any presuppositions.
Your entire world based on presuppositions. You're just focusing in on a few small points to try and justify the entire presupposition. For example, you completely dodged away from dark matter, dark energy. You're saying redshift proves it doesn't. That's all you did. You're just hand waving things away.
None of this is anything to do with dark matter. Dark matter is irrelevant.
Yeah, but that was the original point.
No.
And you're bringing this up because this is the only one you're actually confident on.
The original point that we were talking about was the shape of the Earth. Okay, and there is no presuppositions. All right. Let's take dark matter and dark energy out of the equation completely because they're irrelevant to what is going on here. Absolutely irrelevant. There is no presuppositions from empirical observations of measurements. They didn't get information from anybody else.
These points and they were able to demonstrate that.
Can you present
this
some
is
evidence
entirely
for that, then? Have you got any evidence of
Man,
that?
I don't have them on hand
Okay,
right
cool.
now.
Well,
You'll have to
claims,
talk to the guys that
Occam,
the Flat
so,
Earthers have to. The Flat Earth Convention, go there sometime.
oh, they wouldn't
Go
let me
there,
in.
talk to these people.
They
Oh,
won't
they
let me in.
absolutely would.
No, they won't.
Oh, they absolutely would.
Excuse, did you see what happened with Team Skeptic? They literally had the law escort him from the
You
premises.
mean the troll, the guy that freaks out and calls people morons and cusses at people while debating? Yeah, he's a real. Why would anyone want someone like that in their place? I think if you were respectful, you said, "Hey, I'm here to actually discuss."
Okay, so let me stop you there. Let me stop you there because Team went there and he actually tried to arrange beforehand, respectfully, to try and be an actual guest there, but they didn't let him. And he went there and he was so respectful and so nice to everyone, so nice that even Mark Sargent sat down with him and said, you know, I've got to give you props. You've done a real good job coming along. But as soon as Robbie Davison saw him, MC Toon, who is really not someone who swears and stuff, not in the slightest. MC Toon is like a full-on Christian and total nice guy, right? But as soon as Robbie Davison saw these people, he had them escorted out by the law. Okay? So, you know, I'm going to try and go to the next one in the UK. I don't expect they'll let me in, but I'm going to try and go. But there is no explanation for an Eratosthenes experiment with over 20 data points. It's impossible because if you map it onto any flat plane, you will not get the correct positions of the sun. And we have to say there's some kind of model because we know the positions of land masses, right? We know where countries are in the world, and these data points represent.
Oh no, you're assuming where they are based on a globe Earth, right?
Oh,
so
no,
the data points are all presupposed.
I don't need to presuppose anything. Part of my job in the Royal Navy was to calculate fuel needed to do distances.
I was in the Air Force, and I worked with people that did this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and I know for example that we can send signals straight to the plane further than what the globe Earth should allow.
Got any evidence 100%. Of that?
Yeah, my job. I worked on it.
What kind of signals?
Well, various types of signals. So, I worked in the communications squadron. So we used high frequency radio waves. We used low frequency. We used
and you know ionospheric bouncing
ground
is a thing, right?
to air. We used a really cool system where it's a laser and it blinks at a certain point near the plane. The plane picks up the signal and is able to decrypt the blink. It's kind of like Morse code, but fancy with a signal. And we can send that to planes straight shot without any issues further than should be possible.
Got any evidence
I've seen
of that?
people, again, you'll have to look up the technology and do it yourself. It's actually very doable.
Here's one thing. Let me.
All you need is a high-powered laser and somebody to.
What are lasers made of?
Light.
And what happens to light in atmosphere?
It can be distorted slightly, but not to the extent that you're talking about.
Absolutely. Well,
not to the point that you can talk about. Impossible. They've never demonstrated that at that distance, at that curve, that it'd be possible. Impossible.
Again, you keep saying all these things, but
I've got no
evidence.
It's not. It's
now,
impossible.
let me show you some. No, it's not impossible because refraction is a thing. I mean, I'd love some evidence of that.
You're saying that light. You're saying that light can reflect around a hard curve.
I'm saying that lasers are light and light refracts. Now,
over land and water, and that all the conditions are perfect every time you use it. That's what you're suggesting.
Here's an important one. Okay, FE core, dipshits that are trying to sue me. There is a particular type of transmission that is not affected by atmospheric conditions and does not do things like ionospheric bouncing, and that is microwaves. Okay, microwaves are such a high frequency that they do not get affected by these things. Now, what FE Core did was they got a really powerful microwave transmitter. They got two of them, right? And they set them up at positions where they should, if the Earth was flat, they should be able to get a line of sight, right? Now, as this website, FE Core's website demonstrates, oh, sorry, it's going a bit funny there. When they set it up, they could not get any connections at all. None at all. They tried for 2 days using microwave, high intensity microwave transmissions. They tried for 2 days to get a line of sight. And if the Earth was flat, there's absolutely no reason why they should not have had line of sight with the microwaves.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Excuse me?
Just because something is flat doesn't mean that there aren't things that can cause things to be blocked. For example,
wait.
You could be 3 feet away.
In this, they had it. Let me see. How high up was it? Okay, so it was 60 meters plus the 37 meters. So they had it over 100 meters, literally over water. So there was nothing blocking it.
So they got.
And they couldn't
I'm
find
not
it.
actually familiar with FE Core, but I'm looking at their website right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at. I'm not even. What does FE Core stand for?
Well, they say it stands for Field Engineers Corps, but we all know it stands for Flat Earth Corps.
Well, I'm not gonna assume people's intent.
It's a bunch of flat earthers, including Bob Nadell, I think Rob Skeeter, Jeranism, and that lot. So it's actually the second time that Bob's proved that the Earth is a globe. But based on the microwave transmission that they did, the Earth isn't flat. They did it themselves. They could not get a connection at all.
So again, there can be various things that can cause things not to have a faulty equipment can be one, for example. Two, and which is perfectly reasonable to assume that people can have faulty equipment. If they retry
they checked it and they checked it and they checked it and they did it for 2 days. And I'm pretty sure on the second day they actually replaced one of the transmission towers.
Can you send me a link to that specifically?
Yeah.
To the page you were on.
Let me just get that up.
When people dig into, for example, the worldviews, typically almost all worldviews are based on presuppositions. It's the amount of presuppositions one is based on that
you
can
keep
cause
saying
you to
presuppositions, but so far I haven't found any presuppositions in anything I've been talking about. Because everything can be empirically tested, down to the fact that there is a attraction between masses. Obviously, the Cavendish experiment, which wasn't originally designed to test gravity, it was actually originally designed to weigh the world.
So they know things. So they've seen things. Well, I mean, again, I think you're assuming here that is what it shows. For example, there could be other explanations that explain why something is moving towards another thing. I'm not making a truth claim here. I'm saying, well, we live on Earth, right? Mm-hmm. So there is no place that is not going to be in. There's no area in life that isn't impacted by other effects throughout your life, right? You can walk down the street and there's something that could possibly. I'm sorry. Sorry, my 3-year-old daughter's right here.
That's okay.
Give me 1 second.
Right, take time to do what you need to do. I'm not going to take away 5 of our responsibilities. Okay. Presupposition. I think that word is the new refraction. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted.
All right.
Okay, right. So
no. So what I was saying is that you I have shown here, that you have presuppositions in your worldview that you need in order for certain things to work.
You keep saying you've shown presuppositions, but you haven't.
I have.
Like what?
You're presupposing the existence of dark matter, dark energy, which are required in order for Einstein's theories to work.
No,
you're presupposing things like...
I don't need to.
Okay, do you
what
believe...
we're talking about.
No, you do.
I don't.
Because the goal of Earth is a holistic method. You're using one experiment and claiming that proves without a shadow of a doubt. It doesn't. There are things that can explain.
Like what?
That can explain that.
Like?
Well, one, again, your appeals to authority, appeals to other people.
No, I don't have appeals to authority.
Those do exist. You do.
No, not once.
Hey, again, you need...
Empirical...
I asked you earlier.
I talk about empirical
earlier
observations. That's all.
You say you do, but you need to be able to demonstrate it.
And all the things I talk about can be demonstrated on your own. Now, just watch this for 1 second. This is another empirical observation.
First, we weigh a small lead pyramid to measure the force of attraction between it and the Earth. Its weight is 152.166 grams. Now we move the heavy lead ball under the scale, adding its mass to the mass of the Earth. The weight has increased by 1/1000th of a gram, which represents the attraction between the pyramid and the ball.
Now, that can be explained by other things.
Like what?
It can displacement of particles. It can be explained by
displacement of particles. Please explain what that is. Displacement of what particles?
We know. You know what matter is, right? Correct.
Yes.
You know what energy is, right? Correct.
Yes.
Objects have effects on those, regardless of whether or not.
What kind of effects?
Regardless of pushing and pulling effects, they also have. They can absorb certain things within the atmosphere around it. For example, a dry. If you put a dry potato chip in a room, moisture gets attracted to the dry area. So if it's a humid room, something dry is going to attract the moisture, for example, right?
Completely irrelevant.
So if
to
a certain
gravity.
It's relevant to this. It's relevant to this. I'm not talking about gravity specifically here.
In what way?
So, for example, if you bring an object underneath it, right? Certain things can happen.
Like?
Air currents within a place. I've just listed 3 different explanations.
Well, no, you didn't. You said particles and air currents. Okay, so one important thing about this, what did he say the ball was made of, and the triangle? What are they made of?
I didn't hear what they said specifically about what it was made of.
Lead.
Yeah.
What is an important property of lead? It is diamagnetic, meaning that it will repel from magnetic fields. So we know that the attraction there isn't because of magnetism or electromagnetism of any kind. There is no...
That's been proven. No, that's been proven false, though. Enough electromagnetism in an area can overcome something's repelling force of it.
No, stop. No, that is completely false. Diamagnetism.
Non-magnetic material.
I'm not talking about non-magnetic. I'm talking about diamagnetism. Do you know what diamagnetism is?
Yeah, it's like a repelling force of it, but that they're assuming that's what's causing that.
No, they're not assuming. They know that lead is diamagnetic based on the position of electrons and stuff in the actual atoms and the way that the electrons move around when interacting with a magnetic field. We know what diamagnetism is. We understand it very, very well. Lead is diamagnetic, meaning it will always repel from a magnetic field. The stronger the magnetic field, the stronger the repulsion of the diamagnetic material.
This is exactly your problem. This is why you're not converting too many people away from flat Earth.
Oh, I've converted hundreds.
You're jumping around.
I've converted
hundreds.
And
you know how many more people? You know how many more people are converting to flat Earth?
Not that
daily?
Many. Not that many.
It's crazy, dude. Yeah,
no,
it is.
Actually,
it's quite a few.
Actually, the trends around the world will completely disagree with you. I can literally show you the figures to show
Irrelevant.
you when
People
flat Earth
don't.
started dying.
Trent, yeah, that's an irrelevant. You can use Pew studies and all that nonsense. It's those are irrelevant.
No.
Pew,
Google Trends, the actual thing that people search on the internet, and it doesn't just
Google has been on a downhill slide. Well, first off, Google's been proven. So again, appeal to authority. Google's been proven to manipulate search results. So your entire argument,
if
they're willing to manipulate search results, for example,
you obviously don't understand
their
how
CEO.
No, you obviously don't understand how Google Trends works. You work on Google Trends.
I do. I work on this for a living.
You work on Google Trends.
No,
do you? You work on Google Trends.
You
actually on Google Trends.
You need. No, but I work in that field. I know exactly
what
they can do to manipulate.
Then you don't work in Google Trends. You don't know how Google Trends work.
Line of code
Google Trends. Google Trends matches Google Trends. I have friends that work at NASA, at CERN, at the Canadian Space Agency, at the Indian Space Agency. That doesn't matter. Don't bring up I've got friends at Google. You're the one that started it, so don't bring up that shit. It doesn't matter.
No.
Google
You're
Trends,
talking about Google. You're saying NASA.
I'm saying
that's irrelevant to what we're talking about.
Not really. Google
Are
Trends.
You a programmer?
I can code certain things, but Google Trends.
Okay, so you should know that a single line of code can affect trends.
Stop. Google Trends literally just monitors the searches around the world. Whether these searches have been manipulated or not.
You saying that doesn't say that they don't actually manipulate it.
Stop. You just keep over talking me, all right? You're very bad at debating. Very, very bad at debating, okay?
No, you're bad at it because you're interrupting. You only want to do a lecture.
No, you never stop talking.
This is not...
You never stop talking,
no.
right?
Now, listen. Anyone who... Okay, let someone take a stopwatch.
Someone
take a... No. Take a stopwatch and fucking time this dude. All he's done is tell his videos. That's all he's done.
Moderator's here. He's going to...
Listen, I'm here. I'm sorry, guys. I had an unexpected family dinner with me, my son, and my dad. So I apologize for being late to the show, but now you have a moderator. So now what we'll do is we will go one person at a time, and when I hear people talking over people, I'm going to stop one of you two. Just please respect me asking you to stop, because I'm not going to ask you to stop just to give Fight the Flat Earth some benefit. If he's talking over you, I'll do the same for him, but just please respect what I ask, please.
Okay.
All right.
So,
hey, sure.
Guest. You're the guest. You're the guest. Let's start with you. Go ahead.
Okay. No, my entire point has been since the beginning that if your world has any presuppositions in it, you need to answer those first. You can't just skip around like you've done in this debate. As soon as you get into a tight spot, you immediately jump to another experiment that you claim that proves the point. That is not answering the original. If you can prove, so for example, you can prove that there is that we live on a globe Earth. That still does that. Let's say you do it. Like I said, I am not a dogmatic flat Earth believer, right? I'm saying if you can prove that we live on a globe Earth, you still burden of proof to prove everything else within the theory, right? Because then you have to say, okay, well, if that doesn't match up with the globe Earth, but we know that this experience suggests there could be another explanation. So you have to either go back to your experiment, retest it, or you have to go and say, is there another explanation for why this is causing a distortion in our results? You have to do that. The problem is that no one in the globe Earth community, particularly modern-day scientists, I think that's what most flat earthers have a problem with. I'm just trying to address the main concern, is that modern-day scientists refuse to question the presuppositions of their worldview. That is what that was what I came on here primarily to address.
Okay.
And I think that you're doing a poor job demonstrating that you don't that you're not addressing the ones that I've brought up.
Everything that you bring up, I address. You keep changing the subject to dark matter, to this, to that. Everything that I talk about, I can demonstrate to be a fact. I have not made a single presupposition. There is no presuppositions when everything is based on empirical evidence.
What's the definition of empirical evidence? What do you need to perform science? What is the scientific method?
The scientific method is not a rigid set of instructions.
no. So we're on the same page. When you're talking about science, what do you mean? Because I think there might be a mix up of
Yeah,
definitions
absolutely.
here,
You've
which
no
might be
idea
a
what
problem.
science is.
No, see, oh, whoa. You just said the scientific method is not a hard set in stone thing. So if
No,
that is
it's absolutely
true,
not.
you can't claim to have that is
let,
absolutely true.
let me respond. No, it's not. The scientific method is not a set in stone, rigid set of instructions that every scientific endeavor has to cover. Different areas of science actually have different versions of the scientific method. Some areas of science disregard it completely because the scientific method is not the be-all and end-all of what science is, like flat earthers like to try and imply. The scientific method you're interrupting me, don't do it. The scientific method...
No, I'm sorry, yeah.
The scientific method is a rough guide how to perform certain things, okay? And it allows us a framework to base things around. But it is certainly not a rigid set of instructions like flat earthers seem to imply.
I'm not implying that it's a rigid set of instructions. I'm implying that in order to prove something, there are a couple things.
Science doesn't prove anything.
The science. You're playing with terms here. It's irrelevant, like this minutia of the definitions. You know what I'm implying. My implication is that in order, you said empirical. Mm-hmm. The point is, I was using a layman's term. Okay, not everyone is going to use the specific nuanced language. Right? So that's one. Two, my point was very specific, and that is if you don't have, if you can't answer for all of those other things, which is what was my point. If you have a single presupposition in your worldview, you have to that presupposition, or you have to come up with a answer that doesn't, or a solution that doesn't presuppose something. I have brought up several points that I believe, now you can disagree, but I believe are presuppositions. You're saying they aren't presupposed, and you use something that I would argue uses another presupposition. So I'm saying you're building a argument based on several presuppositions that if you take one away, the entire argument collapses. I'm not saying the globe necessarily collapses, right? I'm saying the argument you're using to support it is.
But
that is one of the biggest problems flat Earths have.
I've made zero presuppositions, and anything I talk about is based on zero presuppositions.
All right. So maybe this will help us here. What is your world?
Sorry, what?
What is your worldview?
What is my worldview?
Yes, your worldview. So
as in, what do I think the shape of the Earth is? I know the Earth is a globe because it's empirically obvious.
No, okay. Let me rephrase this question for you. Yeah. So when he's asking you, Fight, what your worldview is, what he's saying is basically what philosophy of science do you believe in? Do you believe? Is your worldview that the Earth is going through space, circling the sun, which is circling the black hole at the center, and is gravitationally attracted to a great attractor?
Well, the
that whole idea of heliocentric.
The heliocentric model is the obvious description of the world.
Okay.
But worldview is not necessarily just speaking of the world. It's speaking of science and the entirety of the universe and how you perceive science to explain the entirety of the universe.
I go with the current definitions that science has. I go with the scientific consensus. I go with peer review. I go with experimentally repeatable by
authority.
No, not authority. Experimentally repeatable is nothing to do with authority. Peer review is nothing to do with authority.
I could show you Pew studies that show peer-reviewed studies are less reliable. Lewis, I'm sorry, Lewis.
Lewis? Okay, I just was unaware of your name. Lewis, I want to ask you for one thing, because I kind of get a conflicting definition of appeal to authority than what you're providing. In my opinion, an appeal to authority is basically when you say, well, gravity exists because Einstein says so. and that's it. Like, you just leave it at that and you say, okay, because of the, like, there's no evidence to support it. It's just because Einstein, who was, you know, the top man of general relativity, says that gravity exists, therefore gravity must exist. That's an appeal to authority. Now, what's not an appeal to authority is saying that gravity exists because Einstein proved that it exists with this experiment, and this experiment. That is not an appeal to authority, because at some point you have to appeal to somebody who's done the work previous to you. I mean, you don't do math by proving 1 plus 1 or appealing to the person who proved first 1 plus 1.
Yeah, you're not. All right, so for one, math, again, is a descriptor of things that in reality, correct? Can we agree on that?
Yeah, and math is
you kind of cut out a little bit, but I'll step out now.
I'm sorry.
I'll let you fight.
Math is the only place where proof exists.
No, that's not the definition of math. You can create mathematical formulas that appear to but don't describe reality, right? So, like, for example, they have things like imaginary number. You learn about this in like algebra 2 in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, imaginary numbers are not by definition of what an imaginary number is. They use I to represent it, lowercase I. By definition, that is not an appeal to reality. Yet they use it in math to try and help understand certain concepts, but that is not an appeal to reality. Certain math can.
Hold on.
By definition.
Hold on. I just want to help you out, Lewis, just a little bit, okay? Because your definition of what I is and in the imaginary numbers and imaginary planes and having no basis in reality is absolutely false. And I would encourage you to go look into quantum mechanics, which you have to use the imaginary numbers in quantum.
No. It's a simplified. Yeah, quantum mechanics. Give me a break.
You're literally talking to me right now because. Okay, so you would know that without the ideas and bases of quantum mechanics, you would not be speaking to me right now, correct?
No, that's not. That's false. They're quantum mechanics.
The modern day transistor is built on quantum mechanics.
The modern day transistor is based on harnessing is based on how engineering works. That's not the same thing as a descriptor of reality. Right? When humans get into the mix and we create let's say a computer, that is humans, a outside force impacting nature. There's a difference, right? So nature implies, will this happen naturally without outside interference? And that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about numbers appealing to. For example, they can come up with extremely complex equations that if plugged into a certain worldview, will work perfectly fine. So I could, let's say I create a universe where the Earth is square. That's not reality, but I could make all sorts of mathematical equations that fit that reality that I'm constructing. So I'm saying math, entirely beholden to the person who's doing the math. If they have any sorts of presuppositions at all, they're innately going to let it, especially when you're getting into theoretical physics and things of that nature, especially when you're talking on the worldview level and the heliocentric model versus geocentric versus flat Earth versus all of these things. That is my biggest problem. One, that's my biggest problem, and that's one of the reasons why I said he's poor at debating, because he ignores all of those problems and says, I don't deal in that, I don't deal in that, I don't do that, I don't do that. Saying I don't do that is not proof that you don't do that. Anyone who works in the philosophy of science can tell you that. What do you mean? How do you not understand? Have you studied the philosophy of science at all?
If I'm talking about the shape of the Earth, I don't need to take into account dark energy and dark matter. You
do.
No,
because it's a whole. Don't. Your worldview is dependent on.
No. I can absolutely prove. I can absolutely demonstrate what the shape of the Earth is regardless of whether dark matter and dark energy is a thing. It doesn't matter. I can absolutely demonstrate that there is a attraction. No. I can absolutely demonstrate that there is an attraction between all mass, regardless of whether dark energy and dark matter is a thing. When you look at the universe as a whole, yes, you have to start taking into account things like dark energy and dark matter. But when you're working on the local scale, you're talking in Newtonian physics and stuff, you don't need to take into account things outside of a local scale. I can absolutely 100% demonstrate that the Earth is a globe and it rotates without having to even consider anything to do with dark matter or dark energy. 100%.
You're saying that, and you've shown some small micro experiments suggesting that, but you have to be able to scale it in order to prove the entire thing. Just because something works doesn't mean it works the same way on a mass level. So, for example, convection. I'm sorry, my mouth's dry. Let me get a drink of water here real quick.
Okay.
And so here's let's. I think we're getting stuck in the weeds here about specific things. So let's go back to specific one-to-one specific arguments here, okay?
How about we take it back? How about we take it back to the real basics? And how about you show me some evidence that the Earth is flat?
Yeah, we have no evidence that water can curve around a ball and stay level. No evidence of that.
We absolutely do. The gravitational attraction experiments that
presupposing gravity.
No, don't need to presuppose gravity because
you're presupposing
no, stop. I'm not presupposing anything.
On that scale, yes.
No, I am not presupposing anything if I know that there is an attraction between all mass based on experiments and the calculations of what the attraction between all masses are. Then it absolutely leads to that water can stick to the outside of the Earth. There is no presuppositions there. No. There is no presuppositions there because there isn't. No, stop. There isn't any presuppositions. All we have to say is, can we demonstrate that mass has an attraction towards all mass? Yes. Can we demonstrate that this mass attraction exists at all places? Yes. Therefore, gravity will keep the water on the Earth, based on the empirical evidence of mass attracting mass. There is no presuppositions there at all.
I honestly, dude, you really need to work on your philosophy of science. You just made two separate presuppositions.
I didn't make any presuppositions.
Craig, let him finish, Craig.
That gravity scales to that level. One, you're presupposing that. Two, that what's happening locally is in fact what you claim it is. There's some people that suggest it could be different things, right? I'm not one of those people making those claims, but there are people that do. So you're presupposing both of those.
Nope, no presuppositions.
For you to properly practice science, you need to address all challenges. That's what science is. That's the basis of science has always been throughout all of recorded human history. Is taking the challenges that people are making and taking the challenges that people are making and addressing them. There are some people that suggest that there is separate force that is not gravity.
Lewis, now let Craig respond.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let him go ahead and get a response before you keep going on, so that way he can address point by point. Go ahead.
Sure. So I don't want him to get mixed up with what I'm saying.
I didn't make any presuppositions at all. We know there.
I just demonstrated the two you did, dude.
You interrupted me, so
let him finish. Lewis, let him finish.
I didn't make any presuppositions at all. I pointed out that there is an attraction between all mass, and that the law of gravitational attraction works for everything. We know it works on a larger scale because we use the law of gravitational attraction to find Neptune based on perturbations of orbits of Uranus. There is no presuppositions. It is all based on physical, empirical evidence. Zero presuppositions. Your next point about some people don't even think gravity is what they think it is, blah, blah, blah. is completely irrelevant. We understand that there is different levels of understanding in science. Is it an actual physical force? No. Einstein says it is the uneven distribution of mass that causes curvature in space-time, which literally makes things fall into it. There's no presuppositions there. That's just based on different levels of understanding. Regardless of any of that, it doesn't matter, because I can demonstrate there is an attraction between mass. I can also demonstrate that attraction works on a larger scale based on empirical evidence and experiments. I have made zero presuppositions at all in saying that there is an attraction between all mass.
Yeah, again...
Go ahead, Lewis.
I don't think... I think, again, and this is Team Skeptic. I'm the moderator, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm sorry, yeah, okay. Craig, with all due respect, and I don't think you're like a bad guy. Like, I think some flat earthers tend to hate on some of their opponents a little bit, but I can see where they're getting frustrated, because you are completely tossing out several thousand years of philosophy of science.
No.
Because you are denying that you're making presuppositions in your worldview. You're completely denying it. You're saying that you don't make any presuppositions, but any scientist from the past 2,000 years would laugh at your face if you said that. You realize that, right?
But I haven't made any presuppositions.
I just explained to you two that you made.
No, you didn't. You were wrong. I haven't made... No. There is no presuppositions in saying mass attracts mass. No. There is no... No. There is no presupposition.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk one at a time. Now, here's what I want you to do, Lewis. I want you to name one presupposition that Craig made, just one, and then stop there. Let Craig address that. Go ahead.
All right. So here's where he jumped. This is his presupposition. He said locally, and again, I would argue that there are people that say you can't demonstrate, that there are other things to explain it, but I'm assuming his position, okay? So just to make that clear. He's saying that on a local level, we know mass attracts mass. I'm going to toss aside that presupposition because he says I'm trusting that he's telling the truth, okay? Let's just assume that. Now, mass attracts mass on a local level. He says that they can prove that based on ball and the triangle lead, the two lead objects that he showed earlier. He says that proves it, okay? I get that's what he's saying, and I get that he has proof for that. His presupposition is that it scales to the size of the astral body that he alleges we live on. He says we allege, he's the one who's saying that we live on a giant globe. He's saying that gravity can scale to that level. He has yet to demonstrate that. That is a presupposition.
Okay,
that's where he's making.
And
okay. Hold on, Craig. Hold on.
Can I respond? Team.
Three-way pause.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. The evidence of scaling is, as I've explained many, many times, we use Newton's law of gravitational attraction to find Neptune. That literally demonstrates that the gravitational attraction. It literally demonstrates that the gravitational attraction that we notice between all mass scales much larger than just the Earth. In fact, it scales to the entire solar system.
All right, so now you just made a second presupposition here without explaining yourself. So here's the problem. You just said that proves that. How big is Uranus? Or Neptune, or whichever one they discovered. I can't remember which one.
I don't know the exact mass.
About a quarter of a millimeter. I just checked it. I'm dilated at a quarter of a millimeter right now. Oh, you're talking about the planet?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
No, yeah. No, I'm saying, I get what you're saying there. It was funny. It went over my head for a second. And again, with all due respect to Craig here, your problem is you need to demonstrate that what Neptune is that you claim it is in fact that. You're assuming that Neptune is what you claim it is. There are other people that suggest it's something completely different. So now you have the burden of proof. Yes, you've been able to track. Again, you claim this. I didn't see it, so I'm not gonna say whether it's true or false. That's outside of my purview. What I am saying is that they used new law of gravitational attraction and then to track Neptune to discover it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's irrelevant to the size and proving that mass scales to that level. You just proven the equation to find something. You have to prove that Neptune is the size they claim it is, that it's having the effect that you claim it is. You have to be able to demonstrate it. So here's something that you could do, theoretically. As correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the basic layman understanding of gravity. Gravity becomes the force, the gravitational force becomes greater as the mass of the object increases. Correct?
Yeah, it's also dependent on
general. I'm saying layman. Okay. Just
yeah.
For the
But
people
there's another important part, which is the distance between the center of masses.
Wait, okay. That's yes. Fair enough. I would argue that's assumed, but let's just say that that's true. You have to demonstrate those two things, right? You have to demonstrate that there's more mass towards the center of the object and less mass on the outside, and then also you have to demonstrate that it can scale infinitely. You have to be able to demonstrate that. Otherwise, you're presupposing it can. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, except there's no presuppositions because the size of Uranus was pretty well understood, and especially now that we've had many satellites go past Uranus, we know, and Neptune,
Now,
we know
I'm not
exactly
I'm
what
not
their
going to
size
play
is.
the appeal. I'm not going to play the appeal to authority there.
There's no appeal to authority.
That's not going to.
No, stop.
Yes,
Stop. There is no appeal to authority when there is empirical
yes, it's
evidence.
an appeal to authority.
No, it's not.
Appealing
No, it's not. It's not an appeal.
Source.
No, it's not an appeal to authority because somebody else has done the work. That is not how it works.
That's not what I'm saying. You are not going to convince anybody, especially people, because listen, no matter what you say, let's say you convince me that the globe, that we live on a heliocentric globe model. I, by the way, also lean slightly towards a geocentric model, but that's besides the point. Like I said, I'm fairly in the middle, but I lean slightly more towards flat Earth, slightly more. That's where my position is. My argument. All right. Now look at the original picture from when they originally released that, and it'll say it's a digital composite. It's not an actual photograph, okay? And so
Wrong.
You are taking their word for it, which is if you're taking their word for it. Now, again, this is the problem people have, is that you're appealing to NASA and their satellites, and that is a big problem for a lot of people because a lot of people don't, let's say they do believe the globe, that we live on a globe, a vast chunk of the world, especially outside the United States and outside of the Western countries, do not believe we landed on the moon. A lot of people do not believe we landed. In fact, the first 20 years that we allegedly did said that we didn't. It wasn't until the Soviet Union collapsing and that they were starting to have internal issues that they stopped making an issue about it. So again, you are taking NASA at their word for it on that one, which is, again, I'm not going to say that you're purposely lying or anything like that, but I'm just saying you're taking their word for it, which is, I would argue, an appeal to authority, appealing to someone without being able to write yourself.
I could build a satellite. It's not that hard. I'd need money.
Well, hold on. Did you say appeal to the authority was what did you say the appeal to authority was? It was when
I'm
you
saying he's appealing to
something
the organization
that you haven't done yourself.
No, so let me qualify that statement. An appeal to authority meaning NASA, right? You have to trust that NASA is telling the truth on that, right?
No, not really.
Because there's only so many organizations that have allegedly gone to space, right? There's only so many organizations that have.
Yeah, but there is a bunch of organizations that all say the same things.
They're all connected in the end. And you all share resources, so that's kind of a non sequitur argument.
And I just need to point out something that Sean Hufford has just reminded me of, that the image of Neptune I've just shown you was not a composite. It is a single shot that was taken on approach by one of the Voyager probes. So, no, not a digital
approached
composite.
by one of the Voyager probes. How did they transmission that? And how did they prove that that's what it was? It doesn't necessarily have to be completely digital rendered too. Just that they're saying that's what it is. And also, sending is not strong enough evidence for most people. So again, this is why I told you earlier on the comment section, you're a poor debater, because you're not actually addressing the problems.
Oh, I do.
That your worldview has.
The thing is, my worldview doesn't have any problems.
See, that's you're again presupposing that you have no problems. I already showed you
that's
that you
not
have.
what presupposing
Have you been able
is.
to demonstrate that water water can rest around a curve meaning it meets its level on a ball using using gravity? Have you been able to demonstrate that?
The Cavendish
I
experiment.
would argue
The Cavendish experiment absolutely demonstrates that is the case.
On that scale.
On every scale, because there's an attraction between mass. And again, we can scale that up, and I can talk about Uranus over and over, showing that the gravitational attraction fucking scales.
Mate, you're again.
I've not made any presuppositions.
You know how much of a difference there is between Craig's experiment and the size of the Earth, right? Or the size allegedly that the Earth is, correct? Right? You're saying that, right? You realize the difference there, right?
And the fact that the gravitational attraction and the understanding of it we had was able to make us find Neptune. And then when Einstein came along, we actually managed to do the same thing, like with Mercury and stuff, but based on relativity and everything. So, we can absolutely demonstrate that the gravitational attraction is universal. But more importantly, I can absolutely demonstrate that there is a gravitational attraction on Earth that is equivalent to what we say it is, that causes an acceleration downwards of 9.8 meters per second squared on every single molecule of matter that exists on Earth.
So you've been able to measure the gravitational force of an atom?
No, you don't measure the gravitational force of an atom. You measure the gravitational acceleration, and the fact that every atom, every molecule has the same gravitational acceleration acting on it, regardless of its size, demonstrates that our gravity is as we say it is. Obviously, the more mass something has, the more weight it has, meaning that there would still be an acceleration of 9.8 meters per second squared, but it will weigh more.
You've demonstrated an acceleration, allegedly a weight on it. People would argue that can just be. There are other forces at play besides gravity.
What forces? You keep saying other forces. Give me another force.
Some people say gravity is not actually what we think it is, that it's just buoyancy and density. That's what some people will say.
Well, yeah, but
I'm just using that as an example. There are other people.
But that is demonstrably false.
Prove it.
Absolutely, 100%. There's a there is a pressure gradient in the atmosphere. Okay, so if everything was based on buoyancy and density,
that goes the opposite.
Wait, stop. You asked me to prove it. Now fucking listen, all right? If everything is moving based on buoyancy and density, when I let go of this mouse, it shouldn't go down, it should go up, because there is less dense above it. Meaning if buoyancy and density were the deciding factors in everything accelerating, the things would go up and not down.
It's not
because
the only factor, though.
and also buoyancy requires gravity to be a thing.
No, that you're assuming gravity there.
No, I'm not assuming
It
gravity.
That's not necessarily true.
Do you know how
That's not
buoyancy
necessarily
works?
true.
Do you know how buoyancy works?
Some people also argue that the electromagnetic field
I don't care. I don't
causes
care. I
the
don't
fall.
care about what other people. I'm asking you a question. Do you know?
It could be a combination of all three, though.
No. Okay. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Do you know how buoyancy works?
And how buoyancy works.
Yeah.
But I'm not going through a science. I'm not in a science class right now. Right?
Just give me a layman's description of how buoyancy works. Okay, you can. I'll tell you. Right? Here's how buoyancy works, right? A helium balloon is less dense than the air. Therefore, the air has more mass and is pulled down more than the helium balloon. It is pulled down around the helium balloon, making the helium balloon go up.
You use that key word. That's where you
no presuppositions there. No presuppositions. No presuppositions. We know
you just did.
No, I didn't.
Let me demonstrate how you did.
I didn't because
that
I know that there is a
explanation-
mass. I know that there is an attraction between all mass.
No, you've demonstrated that there might be. You haven't proven
No, there
what is
absolutely
causing
is.
the
There
pull.
isn't. All right. Well, then you need to give me another reason. Because there isn't anything else that can explain it. And it cannot be electromagnetism because
if you are making
different
the
objects
truth claim,
act
you have
differently.
to challenge it.
Yeah,
You're making the truth claim.
And it can be challenged, but what you find out is that no challenges match up, right? Here's another way to think about buoyancy, right? If you're in a car, right, and you brake really hard, what happens? You go forward, right? Yeah?
That's due to velocity.
Yeah.
Acceleration.
Now, but here's my point about buoyancy and how it relates. If you've got a helium balloon in the car and you brake really hard, what happens to that helium balloon?
I'm sorry.
Right. I'm in a car. And
repeat. I'm sorry. You cut out.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
So I'm in a car.
Let me ask the question.
All right,
let me pose the question because I think you're getting a little confusing him a bit with your question. Okay, so let me just put it to you like this: you're driving a car, okay, and you have a helium balloon sitting next to you. And you're driving at 60 miles an hour and you slam on the brakes. What do? Do you feel the sensation of moving forward, or do you feel like you're being thrown backwards in your car when you slam on the brake?
Your body will press the gate belt, so probably forward.
Yeah, so you feel the sensation of moving forward. So there's a direction that you're accelerating in that reference frame. Now, which way does the balloon, the helium balloon, what happens to the helium balloon? Does it stay standing up?
The balloon,
does it move forward, or does it move backward?
Well, because it's within a container, it will move towards the back of the car.
Why?
Because there's no other. Because the helium balloon is floating. It is less than the air around it. Therefore, it will not move forward at the same rate because it's not attached to the car itself.
I think you're missing.
Unless it is unless a force is.
Okay, so you're missing the point here. All right. You as a person will continue to go forward when the car stops, so you feel like you're moving forward. The helium balloon will do exactly the opposite. As you go forward, the helium balloon goes backwards. The reason for that is that the heavier air is also having that vector of going forward. And because it's heavier than the balloon and it's moving forward with the force, it makes the balloon go the opposite way. And that's the same concept as buoyancy. There is a force pulling everything down. But in the case of a helium balloon, that force is pulling on the air more because it has more mass. Therefore, it's pulling it around the balloon, making the balloon go in the opposite direction to the local gravitational vector.
So, just so the moderator understands, and so that you don't get too upset by me saying this, you use the key word pulling force. You are assuming it's gravity that is causing that pull.
No, I'm
You're
not assuming. I'm
assuming
not
that.
assuming that gravity is causing that pull. Good, there is an attraction.
And you're
it's-
addressing buoyancy, but you're
Yeah.
also not addressing the two other things that people claim is causing the downward force that is
like what?
pulling us down. Some people have argued that it is the electromagnetic field that
And
keeps
I
people
can dispose that right now.
and
Absolutely 100%.
density and buoyancy in conjunction
Right,
together.
okay, right,
that causes the pulling force.
Right. Well, let me dispel that. Absolutely 100%. First off, buoyancy needs gravity. It's literally in the formula for buoyancy. But with regards to the electromagnetic forces, let me say, I've got a plectrum here, right? What's that made of? Plastic. This is the capo. It's made of steel. If the acceleration towards the ground is due to an electromagnetic force, these objects will have a different acceleration because the electrons in the steel of the capo will be affected by the electromagnetic force in a very different way than the electrons in this plastic pick. So, no, electromagnetism is not an explanation for why things fall. Anything lead or anything diamagnetic, including salt water, would float and go up. So, no, absolutely 100% electromagnetism of any kind.
There's been demonstrations that show a strong enough electromagnetic force can supersede those forces, though.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely 100% not. A diamagnetic material will always repel a magnetic field. North or south, it doesn't matter.
That's been proven wrong, though. So
wait, evidence, please. Evidence, please. I need evidence of that claim.
I can give you an example, because the same principle works with magnetism as well. So, for example, I can't remember his bronze. I think bronze. Bronze is not magnetic, correct? Correct.
I'm not sure of the magnetic.
Is it bronze or is it what am I trying to say here? It's not copper, it's bronze or brass. Brass. That's what it is. Brass.
Yeah.
They have demonstrated that if you put enough of an electrical current or a strong enough magnetic force that it doesn't matter, it can overcome its non-magnetic properties, right? The same principle can apply to other things as well. So
not diamagnetism.
So think of it like fire. Think of it no, that's you're assuming that. You tested that?
Yeah, I absolutely have tested diamagnetism. Yes.
No, you personally have taken you've generated an extremely strong electromagnetic force or magnetic force or whatever you want to use, right? Whatever force you're testing, and you've amplified it as high as that we can possibly theoretically go, and you've shown that it still won't affect it.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that diamagnetism isn't affected by magnetism. It's the exact opposite. Diamagnetism is a magnetic reaction, except it's in the opposite direction to everything else. I do just need to quickly show you something.
Yeah, but people argue that the electromagnetic field isn't just on the ground; it's also pushing from above. So arguably, that your problem with it is irrelevant.
Not really, because this is an electrostatic voltmeter, and it disagrees with your assertion. Next.
You showing a picture and saying that is not proving that is what you're saying is true.
That is,
you're just asserting.
No. I'm not asserting anything. That is an electrostatic voltmeter. It is designed to measure electrostatic charge. It disagrees with your assertion, as do as does every single electrostatic voltmeter in the world.
And hey, Lewis.
Again, you didn't prove anything there, dude.
I proved that it's not electrostatics that's causing things to accelerate with a constant 9.8 meters per second squared. And now let's consider Right. Let's say
It's
that.
actually-
No, wait. Let's say that it is the electrostatic force that is causing things to fall. Right. Here's where the big problem with that is: different materials act differently to electrostatic forces. Depending on what the material is, it will have a different reaction. The fact that there is a constant acceleration of 9.81 meters per second squared for everything, for this aluminium YouTube play button, for this plastic pick, for this china mug, the acceleration towards the ground is the same for all of it. If the answers was electrostatics, they would all have a different acceleration.
It's not. That's not the only. They have several. Again, I said some people say it's a combination of several things, right?
Yeah, but none of those
that are
things work together.
causing the forces. Not necessarily. That's not necessarily true. The whole
any
this
evidence?
whole world reality that we see here now, all works in conjunction together to create the reality we have. That's like a basic philosophy of science.
You got any evidence of that though, please?
Yeah, I'm breathing, for example. That's
No,
okay.
no.
The human body,
I
example of many different things.
No, wait. I would like
working in
some.
conjunction.
Okay, right. Let me ask you a very simple question. Right, I can give you evidence that there is a gravitational attraction between all mass, and that is what is causing the acceleration of everything on Earth at 9.81 meters per second squared. Can you please provide me some evidence that it is something else?
I have addressed this already.
No. I want evidence. I don't want you to address it. I would like some evidence. I would like an experiment. I would like a peer-reviewed. I would like a peer-reviewed paper.
Evidence.
Oh, right. So there is no evidence. In that case, we can dismiss it.
Okay. Now, so here's another problem with appeal to peer review. Pew Research came out not long ago showing that peer review actually decreases the reliability of science and of different things. Peer review is just to already agree, looking at each other's work.
Well, peer review is a
and saying,
massive part of science in general, but
Lewis,
Lewis, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to invoke Hitchens' razor and say that you have said something without evidence, therefore I can dismiss it without evidence and we can move on. Okay?
And I would also, can I point out something real quick, Lewis? You did bring up earlier about the stringency of the scientific method, which does include peer review in its
Very
process.
much so. Very much so.
No. That's the modern of peer review. If you look at the founders of the scientific method, the people that crafted it, they did not take peer review into account at all. In fact, people like
hold on.
even
Lewis, that's
evidence.
That's hold on. That's hold on one
Evidence.
second. That's
We're supposed to be
fundamentally
doing it.
wrong. Lewis,
It's not fundamentally wrong.
I don't mean to intrude in. Listen, I don't mean to intrude into you guys' discussion and whatnot. But the scientific method was set up so that you didn't have people come along and just say, "Yeah, I did this experiment at my house. This is the result. So therefore, this is what reality is based on." The scientific method gives us the opportunity to recreate the experiment that someone else had conducted to validate or invalidate their findings, as well as create other scientific experiments that can validate or invalidate. That is what peer review is.
That doesn't
It's putting it amongst your peers. Putting it amongst your peers to allow them to test your methods, recreate your experiments, and try to validate or invalidate your findings.
Scientific method already incorporates that into it. It doesn't need peer review. The modern definition of peer review is I created this because I've had things peer reviewed when I was college, right? So here's how it works. You craft something, you say this is what I think, this is why it's kind of loose, but my experimentation my experiment is set up in a good way. All they have to do is look over your results and say, yeah, I agree with the results. That is the extent of the modern peer review idea. So using peer review in the modern sense is an irrelevant thing because no one takes it seriously anymore. No one takes peer review seriously anymore.
Literally everything you're saying is wrong. Like, very, very wrong.
You keep on saying that, but you're not demonstrating it.
Oh, I've demonstrated lots, and now this is the part of the debate, Lewis, where you present me with some evidence. No, Lewis, stop, Lewis. This is the part of the debate now where you present evidence for a flat Earth.
I already explained to you that I'm not particular to any model, but if I need to give some evidence, the strongest evidence is that there is no measurable curve that we can see. Okay, anyone can go out there and do this right now. I can disprove that right now. Actually, if you just give me one. No, you'll say refraction the same way you always do.
No, I don't need to say refraction.
That refraction doesn't work the way that you say it is demonstrably.
Excuse me. Right. Okay. We'll get back to that in a sec.
I've been able to see tanker ships. I've taken binoculars. I've seen tanker ships at the that are upwards to 100 miles out and been able to see the full tanker ship. And then as you zoom out, it slowly disappears from your view into the horizon. It is all zooming. So unless you can explain why that happens every single time I do it, because I live right next to dockyards. Angular resolution. Angular resolution does not explain that. Sorry, period. Really not on the globe Earth.
Absolutely does.
No, it doesn't. 100. Look up how much it should curve at 100 miles and tell me you should still be able to see that ship.
Okay.
Right now. Look it up.
Sorry, wait. You're saying that you can see a ship at 100 miles?
If you have a powerful enough of a scope, yes, you absolutely can.
You got any evidence of that?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was like in the 60 mile to 100 mile range. I can't remember.
You got any evidence at all? Would be wonderful.
Because the only evidence I have of its distance was that the ship was right next to an island parallel, and I can look on how far the distance of the island was.
Okay, so what you're saying is you don't have any evidence.
No, right. Here.
Okay, let me disprove what you're saying.
Right now, I'll show you.
Wait, no, I'm just disproving the fact that we can't see any curve. So this is a guy lives in Spain in response to a challenge from Howard George Stirrup, who said you cannot see curvature at sea level. 2 photos were taken, one of 1 meter above, hashtag stop censoring Howard, 1 meter above sea level and 8 meters above sea level. And photos were taken out towards a rocky crop. And so this is the 2 pictures, right? The top one is from 1 meter, the bottom one is from 8 meters. Looking at this, it doesn't look like there's any difference because you can see the top of it. But that's the crop versions. When you actually look at the full pictures, what you notice is there's over 40 meters of that island, of that rocky outcrop missing. 40 meters because of 7 meters difference in height. The only explanation for that is that in the picture on the right, shit's being hidden by the curve of the Earth. There is your observable curvature.
No, I've seen people address from you before. That is not true. If you zoom in on the horizon line of the water, you will see the rest of that. Absolutely.
Right. Do you want me to disprove that right now?
I live near.
No. Do you want? No. Do you want me to disprove that right now? I'll give you a chance to retract that if you want.
Listen, man, I'm kind of over you right now at this point. No, you're kind of irritating.
I'm giving you evidence.
I can see why people get frustrated.
Would you like some evidence?
You're showing me a cropped picture. You're scrolling through a web page that I have no ability.
Here we go. I can send you the link to that. Okay, so this is.
Okay, let me. All right, I'm going to play a video of mine too. And okay. You have to debunk that video.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get.
Is that the game we're going to play? Are we going to go there?
Yeah, you can play your video, but you can watch this one first. All right. So this is Dazza the cameraman, and he's using a P1000, possibly a P900 actually, I'm not sure, right? So what he does is you can see these ships on the horizon, okay? Now he takes a screenshot of this when it's zoomed out on the right, okay? And then he zooms all the way in.
That's clearly not zoomed out.
It's not zoomed out all the way. He actually zooms in a bit, he zooms in here, okay? But
and you can see less of it right there.
No, you can't see less of it.
You
can't. No. Stop. Shut the fuck up and listen, please.
All right, bye.
Right. So, as you can see, when he takes the screenshot there, is a certain amount visible. But then as he zooms in and gets the same screenshot zoomed in, the same amount is visible. Zooming in does not bring things back from over the horizon. Now, do you have a video to present me, or have you run away? Yeah, he's run away.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, well, I'm going to call that a win, because he just ran away because he didn't like evidence.
Well, I want to say, because I've been taking notes too while you guys were talking, and I didn't want to interrupt y'all because it was really between y'all. But and if you're still out there, Lewis, you know, you can come in here and address what I'm about to say right now, because it's all going to be about you real quick. He said that, of course, this was just since I came in. He said that Craig must know about dark energy and dark matter to speak on the shape of the Earth. I'm going to ask you a question, Craig. Are you an expert on gravity, or are you competent in describing gravity?
I'm competent in describing gravity.
You're competent in describing gravity. Now, he says that he was in the IT field. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I believe he said that, yeah. So that would mean that he works with electronics. And electronics absolutely depends on quantum mechanics. Therefore, he cannot make any claim about you not being, well, first off, not being an expert, because you're not claiming that, but not to even be competent in that field, because you don't know about dark energy and dark matter. When he says when I'm sure he would say that he's competent at least in the IT field without knowing about quantum mechanics. So that invalidates that argument. He said that you were appealing to authority, which I'm not sure that he even understands what real appealing to authority is. But then turned around and appealed to authority multiple, and I'm talking about multiple times. When I typed this down, I wanted to start putting dash marks every time he appealed to authority when he said, well, some scientists think that there's another force that replaces gravity. Well, what are these scientists? Where is their proof? I mean, are you just saying that? You're now, that is by definition the appeal to authority that I brought up to him and said, look, Craig's not appealing to authority, because he's not saying that gravity's real because Einstein and Newton say so. That's a big difference. So he appealed to authority multiple times on that. Let's see, when he said that you can't apply gravity at the larger and larger scales, he said, okay, so we can apply it locally, and then we can apply it to our planet, but we can't prove that we can apply it and continuously apply it and apply it and apply it further and further and further. And I posed to him that pi has only been calculated to about 30 trillion decimal points by now, and we base the area of circles on pi r squared. So according to his definition, I guess we're just presupposing the pi and area and volume and all of the other things that pi is, or that depends on pi to actually exist. We're presupposing it because we've never reached the infinitely long number, the end of the infinitely long number. Same can be applied to gravity. Just because we can see it that it works here, we see that it works there, we see it further and further and further up. There are times when we need a better explanation. That's when things like general relativity come into play. And there will be more times in the future, once we get a better understanding of general relativity and quantum mechanics, to be able to probably have to explain some things further. But that's totally fine. We don't need to know that. We don't need to see that it works from here to the end of the universe to know that it works at the solar system scale, the galactic scale, the local group scale. We see all that, so we can assume that it works further and further and further until we see evidence that it doesn't, or we need to find a reason to explain some of the things that happen at relativistic speeds and sizes. I didn't say anything. I wanted to interrupt real quick to when he started talking about dropping non-magnetic metals through magnetic fields. This was something I studied a little bit when I was an electronics technician, having to know about just certain things about the way electronics are. When you drop a brass ring or a piece of brass through a strong enough magnetic field, what it will do is it will cause the electrons inside of the metal to begin generating their own electric current, which in turn generate a magnetic field. So the electric currents are what's generating the magnetic field, not necessarily the metal itself. So and it's not in every object, because you can drop a banana peel down the brass, or down through the the magnetic field or electromagnetic field, and there will be no effect on it. But you drop something that's metal but non-magnetic, like brass, down that same pathway, and it will have a resistance force to it, and it won't fall at the gravitational speed, just because it's meeting a resistance, though, nothing else. I'd also like to point out that he's redefining peer review, literally redefining peer review. He read like the first. Let me show you what he did. He went to unscienceberkeley.edu and read it, and says, "Oh, look, in science, peer review typically works something like this: a group of scientists completes a study and writes it up in the form of an article. They submit it to a journal for publication. The journal's editors send the article to several other scientists who work in the same field for peer review." Yeah, so they're not agreeing with it. So let's read another definition of peer review over here, okay? Peer review is the evaluation of work by one or more people with similar competences as the producers of the work. It functions as a form of self-regulation by qualified members of a profession within a relevant field. That is peer review. So I can't just go and say, guess what, guys, gravity is 11 meters per second. I can't just go say that and everybody's going to go, yeah, I like that guy, Team Skeptic. I'm just going to go with what he says. And then so we get a majority of people that just start saying that the gravitational force is 11 meters per second. So then we have to go and that's what the peer review does, is it stops it from when I just say something before people can go around and start believing it, and before science will start accepting it. They'll go and they'll test it amongst other people who are qualified to test my findings. Now, we might all be friends, but there might be someone who's not. There might be an outlier that's looking for a different explanation than what we continuously say, and he'll use the peer review to prove or disprove you. If he can disprove you using peer review, he will. And then and then the last thing he said, which is probably the most ignorant thing he said all night, was that he said a ship, he looked through a viewfinder or a telescope or whatever he said, and saw that a ship was parallel to an island, so he could guesstimate its distance at between 60 and 100 miles. Sorry, bud. When you look at things, you literally see things in 2D. So your brain has to put it together to make it three-dimensional. But if you're looking at a photo, or if you're looking through a telescope, you're generally looking in 2D at an object. And when you're looking at something in 2D, you have no depth perception. You can only estimate what you think looks like the right distance. You might be completely wrong. And if I had the Father whatever clip it was, you have it, don't you? Please tell me you have it.
The which one?
The cows clip.
Not immediately, no. I think I deleted it off my thing. Sorry, I had to reset my my vMix, and some of the things have gone. But yes, Father Ted, these cows are small, these cows are far away.
Yeah, that one right there. You can't fucking tell, right? You could hold that cow up and take a picture of it, and you could make the smaller cow that's closer to you bigger in the picture than the cow that's actually much larger but much further away. So there's no way to really see that without taking other visual cues and being able to develop, some sort of like justification for what your belief is, that what you're seeing in 2D represents something in 3D. And seeing ships out at the sea looking like they're parallel to something that's to the left of it is not the same thing as fucking seeing something that's parallel. That's just you saying, oh my god, I think it's parallel. Looks like it. At least it makes sense to me. That ship that's 10 miles out must be 100.
All right. So he's saying he's going to come back in, and he's got a video. Let me get this video up so we can talk about that.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt Charles' debate to bring those topics up, but I was taking notes though.
Yeah, appreciate that. So this is the video that he has put up. Come on. Ships at the horizon line do not dip below a curve that does not exist. Blah, blah, blah. So something recorded with a potato. Zoomed out.
Oh god. Maybe.
You don't see the bottom of the ship below the nose. Or yeah, because it's as blurry as fuck. You still there, team?
Oh yeah, I'm
sorry, it's saying
the video.
on the you disconnected on the thing.
Huh? Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So he wants us to zoom in. Yeah, you clearly couldn't see anything when it was zoomed out because it was such a bad quality picture. But as the video by Dazza the cameraman demonstrates, yeah, at no point did more of that appear. It just increased in angular resolution. Oh god, where's the Dazzle the Cameraman video gone? I don't know if he's coming back in. I think we might have to just call it there for tonight. How have I lost the Dazzle the Cameraman video? Well, anyway, yeah, the Dazzle the Cameraman video I showed shows that no amount of zooming will actually, you know, bring things back into focus or bring it back over the horizon or anything. I'm just going to tell him it's over. It's okay. It's over. You lost. Yeah, so I think we're going to call it there for tonight, guys. I see Nathan Thompson in the chat. I hope you and your 8 showerheads had a lovely Christmas. I'm sure you're all going to be very happy together.
Hey, bring him in here real quick.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk. Nathan, come in here. Let's talk, baby.
Nathan, I'm about to send you an email. And while he's waiting, I can read some of the super chats.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me just get this email to him.
I'll be right back.
Flat Earth Flyers. I'll give him that dude's thing because he was useless. Hey Nathan, I hope me and you are still having our debate on modern day debates. And here is your link, Nathan Thompson. Please come in so team can have a chat with you. Let me just get through a few of these super chats. First off, we had a new member, Flerfs are idiots. Thank you very much. Everyone, welcome our new member with the emojis that you can do. Obviously, the one of team whistling is the preferred one. That is now known as the Whistler. N Flat Earth for $5. Aloha FTFE, hope you're feeling well and having a happy new year thus far. I'm enjoying myself, thank you. Still getting over the cold and stuff, but yeah. Sam Bob Dylan for $2 says gravitational waves have now been detected, proven. Yes, they have. Area 85 Restorations for $5. How else do you test a model, then seeing if it can make accurate predictions of future data? That's science, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I was trying to explain that to him. Boaty McBoatface for $6.66 New Zealand. Flatardier model. Laughy face emoji. Yeah, I'd love to see one. Yeah, Nathan, I've sent it to flatearthflyers@gmail.com, I think. Let me just check. Sent. Yeah, Nathan's here. Yeah, Sam Dylan for $5. Stop the debate on the fact of difference in opinion. Mathematical predictions got us to where we are now, proven and disproven in model and reality. All right, we'll get back to those in a bit. Nathan, welcome. How are you?
Super good.
Super good.
You rang?
I did. Team wanted a wee chat with you.
Yeah, Nathan. Okay, so I have no problem with debating you in Dallas, right? But here's my thing. I respect James. I respect James a lot. I think what he's doing over there with his channel is a really good thing. I'm not going to sully it with our fucking personal disagreement to fuck up his show. So, if you're willing to put aside, at least for that day, any disagreements that you and I might have so that we can at least respect his show, I think that would work. I'm not going to tell James to do it if you're if you're full intention.
We have
saying.
disagreements?
Who? Me and you?
Wait, who are you? Are you that guy who tried to interview me in Dallas, but I was busy?
Yes.
You're not looking good by saying this, but look, I'm trying to be serious here
Right.
because I give a shit about James's channel. Okay.
So Nathan,
So,
let me just.
I've already
that
talked
for
to
you,
James.
if you don't mind. So James wants you guys to have a live debate. That will be good for both sides. Team is saying that he will put aside the bullshit between the two of you so that you can have a conducive debate. Will you be able to do the same?
Dude, I'm going to show up and do what I do, which is crush the Globe cartoon every single time, every day of my life.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
that
personal
part
issues.
I'm not worried about.
I don't even know who this dude is. Are you talking about this cartoon that hits a freaking dinger and calls people an idiot? You guys think I care about that guy?
Whether
And, like,
listen,
need to
listen.
set aside differences with a freaking cartoon from YouTube? No, dude.
Oh, I
don't even know who
wasn't.
you
Yeah,
are.
I know, but I wasn't
I don't have a
cartoon.
clue
But
who
hey, I
you
wasn't
are.
a cartoon when I was in your face, was I? I wasn't a cartoon when I was in your face, was I? What was your excuse
I don't ever
then?
recall.
You knew who I
I
was.
don't ever recall you,
Yes, you
being
do.
in my face at all.
Oh, just close enough to slap your fucking ribs with my left hand? Yeah, okay. I wasn't up in your fucking face, my ass. I don't let people get that close to me unless I want them that close to me.
Cool. So
Anyway,
we're
Natalie-
looking
anyway,
forward to
Natalie,
a good debate. Then,
Since you're not going to be cool about shit, you're going to be able
I'm
to
always
fucking act fucking cool during the...
I'm always cool.
There's some videos of you that would say differently. Okay, back to what I was saying. I don't want to fuck James's fucking channel up. So if you can't fucking agree with me right now that it's going to be good, then I'm going to tell James just to find somebody else and fly somebody else in. You tell me it's going to be good, then I'm going to be cool with it. I'm going to go there. I'm going to be cool because James deserves that for his channel. Do you agree that James deserves it for his channel? Fuck
Hey,
me.
dude,
I don't give a fuck about me and what you feel about me. You do, don't you?
Yeah, I
You like
like
James.
James.
You wouldn't want to fuck his channel up, right? Okay, so can you agree with
Dude,
me
I'm
right now
gonna
that we're going to put
crush-
that aside at least for that fucking day? I don't give a fuck about your fucking world beliefs, dude. I really don't give a shit about that right now. I'm talking about me and you, and you know what the fuck I'm saying. So don't quit playing fucking pussy right now. Grow up.
I don't know who you are, dude. You're a cartoon on YouTube. So if you think I'm gonna have
Again,
beef with the
you
cartoon
knew who
on
I was
YouTube-
when I was in your face. You knew who I was
No,
when I
dude,
was in your face.
That was definitely the
Don't
first
say
time I
no.
saw you. Had
You
no
knew
idea.
you
I still don't know
knew who the
you are.
fuck I was. You knew who the
Hey,
fuck
I still
I
don't know who
was.
you are.
Nathan, does that look like a cartoon?
That's who the fuck I am.
Right on. I don't know who you are. I don't know your name. I don't know where you work. I don't know what you do. If you have any pets. I don't know if you have a girlfriend or a wife. I don't know you. You're a cartoon from YouTube.
Yeah,
that's obsessed
I mean
with
that's
me.
that's
That's
really
obsessed
obvious that I didn't
with
put
me.
my personal life.
That's
I'm obsessed with you.
you're
Why would you think I'm obsessed with
me.
you?
Why
would you think I'm
because
obsessed
you
with you?
came to a conference I was at and then got super upset. I wouldn't talk to you.
Hold
and
on,
you're
hold
still
on, hold
talking
on.
about it. You're still talking
No,
about it.
I'm
months
not
later.
talking about it. No, I'm not
Yeah, you are.
talking
You were
about
just
it.
talking
I'm
about
talking about. Look, man, my personal feelings towards you is something that just I'm not really.
This isn't a
prepared to
dating
talk about
website.
online.
Yeah, I don't really care
Oh,
either. It's
I know.
not a dating
It
website.
has nothing to
Get a
do with
fucking
that.
life,
It has
dude.
nothing to do with that.
You think I care about your feelings towards me, dude? You're the one that cares about feelings. Oh, Nate, are your feelings going to be okay during the debate? Or is it
No.
going to be a good debate? Dude, I'm going to crush the debate. I'm going to talk about flat water. I'm going to talk about how the cartoon tilted ball Earth you all believe in doesn't spin, and how space is fake. It's a cartoon.
All right, how about this?
It's a
How about this,
religion.
Nate? How about this, Natalie? What do you want to do after the fucking debate then, huh? Man up! What do you want to do? What do you want to fucking do? You gonna be cool, or you want to go fucking get fucking? You want to go there, dude? I'm trying to be cool with you right now, okay? And you're being a little fucking piece of shit prick. So what do you fucking want to do? Make your fucking desires known right fucking now, dude. How about that? And I'll do whatever the fuck you want.
I'm gonna go get some vegan food and maybe drink a beer.
Yeah, no, go fucking get you some goddamn vegan food, you goddamn soy boy. Kick his ass out.
Yeah, Nathan, you should probably have some meat every now and then. Yeah, do you the world of good.
You guys are so triggered. So pathetic.
Tune in for it.
All right, Nathan's gone. It's cool.
Tune in for it.
Yeah. All right, let me get through the rest.
I tried to be cool, dude. I tried to be cool, man, and that pisses me off because I'm sitting here trying to be fucking serious about this shit. I'm trying to be cool because I don't want to fuck James's fucking show up whatsoever.
No, I know what you're trying to do.
And this piece of shit is sitting there trying to antagonize me when I'm trying to do this for James. I don't give a fuck. My feelings about him, I don't give a shit about that. That's the least of my fucking concern.
I know. I kind of want to see a boxing match between the two of you.
Whatever, though. Tune in.
Okay, the Fuzzler for $5. JY, do you take any medicine ever, or do you question how they were tested and made? Are you aware LD50 is found via testing and maths? No, he doesn't believe in maths. Carrie Oliver, $33.33. Presuppose, conjecture, assumptions. You have no proof. We have all the proofs. You have nothing but nuh-uh. Yeah, he was really bad at debating. Really bad. John Rapp for $2. Make sure everyone says hello to John Rapp in the correct way. Is this guy not presupposing all science is wrong? And another $2. Observation is not presupposition. Absolutely. Brian Peck for $2. FTFE, your opponent presupposes he exists. I hope he doesn't, because I don't want people that stupid to actually be alive. Ash Scott for $2. Make the Flerf answer questions for the next hour. I tried. I kept asking for evidence, and he just reverts to the, I don't have a model. Yeah, you fucking do. You're a flat earther, you knob. Rampant for 2,500 claps. How the hell is putting a fucking stick in the ground and measuring angles presupposing anything? This is a new level of BS. John Rapp for another $2. Introducing Presupposition Man. I suppose a man? Only Sheeple Can't See for $5 New Zealand dollars. I predict that by the end of this debate, this dense Flerf would have said nothing at all. Rhetoric only about a concept in his head. Flat Earth is pathetic. $5 from C4. JYLewis, you shouldn't have presupposed that you'd win this debate. Everything you said was wrong. Only Sheeple Can't See, $5 New Zealand dollars with a ha-ha sticker, thank you. End Flat Earth for $5. This flat derp is trying way too hard to convince himself. John Rapp for another $2. Presupposition, obsession much. I know. How many times? I might actually do a clips of him saying presupposition. $5 from C4. I love you, Magda von der Weld. JYLewis, you're an idiot. Grow up and move on from this childish nonsense. The earth is not flat. Matthew Matthews for $5. Can I presuppose that I'm first in line to punch JYLewis? Nothing to do with me. Don Giovanni for $2. What solid has the minimum surface area volume ratio? He wouldn't have known. Tim Pryor for $5. Ask him how to prove water can't stick to the outside of a ball without presupposition. Andy Belton for £5. This guy presupposes it's all wrong without evidence, then claims FTFE is presupposing. What the fuck? Andy Beltron. No, I just read that one. Brainy Beaver for $2 Canadian. Has anyone seen my goalpost? I can't find it. It's in another state now. The Fuzzler for $2. My friend has a dead tooth. I call it his JM tooth. End Flat Earth for $2. I'm convinced Flat Earth is a cognitive disorder. Sirf for $5. Just another Flerf that has no evidence, and when asked, he says he doesn't have it with him right now. He did know he was coming to debate, right? Yeah, he wanted it. Sirf for another $5. I'm kind of over you. Yeah, after you were asked for actual evidence. GT Racing, David Long for $15. There is only one way to solve it between you, team, and Nat. I will donate a two-structured fight. It would feel good, team. I would donate to a structured fight. Yeah, sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah, me too. I would love to see them get in the square circle. Fred for £199. If JY was consistent, he'd believe in idealism. John Rapp for another $2. Thank you, John Rapp. Thank you, chat. Oh, and Craig and team. End Flat Earth for $2. 5 more just because Natalie is a waste of atoms. Thank you very much for all the super chats, guys. Really do appreciate it. Well, what did we have tonight? We had another flat earther who came with no evidence, demanded that everything was presuppositions when it's actually empirical evidence based, and basically denied all of science, and then made up his own version of the scientific method and his own version of peer review. Par for the course, really, team, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Tommy Dot, I would...
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm fucking...
I would do my guitar right now, but it's...
Telling you guys, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you what I'm going to go do, guys, tomorrow. I'm going tomorrow. I'm going to go fucking get... I already have a mouth guard, you know, that I pretty much carry around with me. I'm going to go get a Team Skeptic one made.
Yeah, man.
At the end of the debate, that bitch is going in my mouth. We'll see what's up.
Honestly, that would be the best video ever.
I'm going to set it, but right there, I'm going to set it on the table so everybody can fucking see it the whole time I'm fucking debating him. Including him. That's the only thing he's going to be able to focus on is, God, how much work has that mouth guard already had?
Oh, Night Fox, apparently I've missed a super chat of yours. I'm sorry. Let me go back and see if I can see it.
Dude doesn't even know how to fucking be cool for fucking James, dude.
No,
James
he
is
doesn't.
fucking... James bust his ass for this fucking community. What are you fucking doing, Nathan, you piece of shit?
Night
All
Fox,
about
I'm
him. Him and talking to kids. Let's not forget, Nathan, you're on video trying to get kids to jump in your car with you.
Yeah.
So you can talk flat earth with them.
I'm really sorry, Night Fox, but I don't see your super chat. If you've super chatted, it's not there. Feel free to leave a message and I will read it out for you now. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but flat earthers, man, what are we going to do? 2020, I think this has to be the final year of people believing the Earth's flat, right? I hope so.
Nah, bro.
Oh man.
Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm trying right now.
I know. I've got tomorrow. Team and I are going to do a stream on his channel. What are we doing, team?
I honestly can't even remember what we had planned like right now off the top of my head.
We'll figure something out. But then I've got another debate on Sunday.
Yeah, you know it's always fun. So.
Yeah. I've got another debate on Sunday with a Facebook guy who says that I'm the dumbest fucker ever. And then I've got one on Monday. I think I'll have to double check that one. I'm working on a new video, a collaboration with Brainy Beaver about the best dad in the world, Nathan Oakley. So that's going to be fun. Look forward to that. And this year, guys, I am going to just go after all the Nathans because there's far too many Nathans in Flat Earth. So I'm gonna go after Nathan Thompson. I'm gonna go after Nathan. What's his name? The religious dude.
Robert.
Nathan Roberts, and Nathan Oakley is going to get a fucking lot of shit from me. I'm going to try and ruin his year just because I can. But anyway, guys, that has been another Flat Earth debate where the Flat Earther got absolutely ruined. Please make sure you subscribe and share because that really, really helps me. You can also join and become a member if you feel so inclined. I really do appreciate all the support, and here's to a year of awesome. But remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the Flat Earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.